What is up, y'all? Ace Trainer X here, and today we're going to be talking about temporal forces, specifically where they're at in the 2 months that they've been out. So let's go over to the newsroom and figure it out. We're going to be starting out with the Metal Chunky Fighting Lad Iron Boulder EX. This guy peaked at about 30 bucks on release, but has slowly gone down. It did have a short stint of recovery around May, and this was because a lot of people believed Turbo Hands was going to have a really solid showing at EUIC, and it honestly sort of did. I mean, 2 Turbo Hand decks actually made it into the top 8. It was supposed to be a really good card for the counter since Iron Hands is allergic to fighting, but Turbo Hands really isn't seeing a good spread right now in competitive play. Plus, Turbo Hands really needs a very tightly controlled Pokemon list to see its combo go off really fast and really effectively. So it's not really seeing much play, and the price is going down because of that. That doesn't stop it from being an absolute banger art though. I mean, what is like even going on here? Are those like platforms? Are those like water? Honestly, now that I'm looking at it, it kind of looks like, you know, urine. It kind of looks like piss. It's kind of weird. It's a very warm card, guys, and has a lot of collector appeal, and that's why it's coming in this slot at 21 entire dollars. Bianca, let's be real. This card is not being played. This is pure and uncontrolled collector bait. Pure and uncontrolled collector bait. This art is gorgeous. It has these gorgeous pastels and plain serenity, and it has that sliding in at crisp $28. Something else interesting about this card is it actually has like a really low velocity, and at being 30 bucks, you would expect a bit of a higher velocity, but only a few copies are being sold every day. Typically, these type of female character cards are being sold at a much higher velocity, but you know, this one's really not. I believe people thought this would be the next female fad card, Bianca's Devotion, but it just really hasn't had a very strong showing, but it is still a great art, and you can own it for only 28 entire dollars. There's only one word here, and that's strong playable. Literally nobody is collecting this card for the aesthetic. This is driven by pure competition, and there's no wonder why. Prime Catcher has become the default ace spec of choice in almost every deck. Overnight, this card practically doubled the price of most competitive decks. I'm actually glad that it's seeing a downward trend right now at about $27. However, with NAIC just around the corner, I can actually see it spiking again. This card just has an insane velocity too. I mean, there are tons and tons of these cards being sold every day. So if you pulled one and you want to give it to your boy, Ace Trainer X, that would be awesome because I really need some and I really don't want to pay $27 for them. Okay, so Aerie has this entire like U-shape thing going on at $31. The reason for this is very simple. People thought it was bad at first. Then people realized that taking item cards, especially 2 rare candies from a Charizard deck, is actually really good and can be completely and absolutely devastating for Charizard. Imagine being a Zard player and Aerie takes your silly 2 rare candies from your hand, and then, oh, surprise, your other 2 rare candies are prized out. What do? You just cry. You cry Zard tears. Cry the Zard tears.
Cry the Zard tears.
This art is also just stunning. Lucario, Annihilate, Toxicroak, and Passimian. I think it's Passimian, that guy. I'm pointing and y'all can't see me, but they're all posted up and ready to go. Plus, Aerie is just a beast, bro. Man, she looks like, is she like a luchador or something? I don't know, but man, she's freaking fierce, and she's like rocking that outfit. I also really like the use of like the pinks and the purples in this art. It contrasts and just like, it just pops, man, it pops, and it's totally worth 31 bucks. Oh, Iron Leaves, you are the Zard tech that could. Probably. Maybe you could. People were, or maybe they still are, actually still playing this card for the Zard counter because it's grass, and Zard is allergic to grass. I think the value of this card is absolutely driven by both sides of the community. It is a specific type of playable for a specific type of deck, but it's also just banger art. The pink accents of those Iron Leaves truly like pops with the greens and the tills, and I don't know if Iron Leaves is like a fan favorite for some people or something, but that might be why it's sitting at a crispy $37. I'm not sure. It is slowly going down though, but it's probably because it's not as good as people thought it was, because sure, it can take out one Zard, but what about the second Zard? Or, oh, surprise, the third Zard. So I honestly foresee this card falling even further. It's gonna keep falling, guys, but it's gorgeous art and you can pick it up right now for $37. Down, up, and down again is the theme for Gouging Fire EX at 31 crispy dollars. However, after Indy's showing of the Dialga Matang monstrosity thing that happened that totally annihilated Chin Pao, taking first place, Dialga Matang, I really see Gouging Fire coming in strong to counter the rise of Dialga Matang. I foresee this going up as a big deck, or maybe even an archetype, as these weird Jank Masters and Pros kind of smash together some cool, weird gouging fire decks. This archetype, this deck, this card actually took 13th place in Sapporo, so that is another reason why I think it's going to go back up slightly. So we have a pretty decently competitive deck that's going to be a strong counter to what the new meta is going to be. A lot of people are going to start playing Dialga Matang. The card itself is absolutely stunning, and it's a huge win for me. Gouging Fire themselves look kind of goofy, but I'm not going to lie, this card makes him look fierce, man. It makes him look super fierce. The jungle parts and the fire and the flowers matching like his face parts, and that insane crown thing he's got going on just really makes him look super intimidating. And it's honestly like something straight out of the Discovery Channel. I freaking love it. It's like a straight snapshot that someone took a picture of. I'm a huge fan of the idea of combining fire with grass, so this card is a huge win for me. Collector bait. This card is collector bait because it is awful and competitive. I'm not even convinced that it is playable in a jank deck. I just can't believe they do Walking Wake like this. I mean, I feel so bad that Walking Wake is such an awesome Pokemon design, the little blue raptor guy, and they totally demolished his card. They did not have to do him like this. People absolutely love the silly little blue raptor guy, and that is why this card is still holding up at $41. It's all collectors. It does actually have some really good velocity with about 10-ish cards being sold every day, so that's actually pretty good if you want to sell it. I also like how Gouging Fire and Walking Wake are kind of the opposites of each other. Ice versus fire, or water versus fire, and it's really cool because, you know, he's like sitting on a log right here, and the other one he's sitting on a rock. This one has pink flowers, Gouging Fire has red flowers. I bet they look really cool in a binder together, side by side. So this card is 100% being held up by collectors, and honestly, coming in at $41, I can see it. It's awesome. It's an awesome card. It'll look good in your collection. This was our surprise value from this set. It started at only about 40 bucks, capped at almost $100, and then settled in at a crisp $57. This card is actually played in Lugia, but there's no way that explains this value creep. I think it might have something to do with like the Gengar and people realizing the art is actually super dope when you take the time to look at it. I mean, it's just like Morty hanging out, admiring his Gengar that's terrorizing some local Pidgeys. I mean, look at that one Pidgey. I mean, the one with the wing over here. I mean, he might be dead. I think Gengar stared at it too long and the Pidgey just freaking died, man. It's freaking dead. I'm actually kind of annoyed because I sold one of these during pre-release because I really didn't think it was going to be a playable, and I really didn't think anyone was going to want it, but I should have known. The Gengar tax. It's real, guys. It's real. Iron Crown is absolutely a card that was driven by amazing art plus competitive value. So that equals money, right? When Iron Crown came out, people finally realized that Iron Hands could rise up and become an archetype in the form of Turbo Hands, since Cobalt Command stacked and it was actually possible to take out some big stuff with 3 prize cards and amping you very muches. You can see the price really spiked before EUIC to about $100, and then it kind of settled down to about 60-ish bucks, and now it's coming right back up to about 68. I really think what happened is that the initial competitive viability spiked the price, and which in turn had collectors start looking at it like, oh wait, this is a cool card. This is a really cool card that I want in my collection. And why wouldn't it? This card is stunning. Honestly, the picture does not do this card justice. In person, it just pops right off the page. It's crazy. The colors really come together to make an amazing gradient on this little cardboard rectangle. I don't know if Iron Crown is actually a fan favorite, but the big moon in the background, or whatever it is, the planet thing in the background, really sells this card for me and just contrasts really well, and it's freaking amazing. Alright guys, thank you for sticking around in yet another video. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and do all the cool things for me. I really appreciate it. As a small YouTuber, every bit of engagement really helps me out. And as always, I'll see you guys next time. Take care.